there, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Earth Station One podcast. That's right, folks. Happy New Year. This is the last episode of 2022. This is, an end of an era for us because 2022 was a big year for a lot of different reasons, but we're ending it on a bang with a Knives Out mystery. It is going to be awesome. We are going to be looking at Glass Onion, and Daniel Craig is back as Benoit Blanc. It is going to be a great, great adventure. And I did say his name right, not like at the end of this last episode that we did, where I was like, so it was a ton of fun. And we want to say hi to everybody here. It's awesome to have everybody. And hi to our YouTube listeners. Thank you so much for viewing us and joining with us. And of course, everybody at home who's listening to us on their audio player, we still love you guys. We really, really do. So thank you guys for everyone who's been listening, everyone who's been hitting the subscribe button on YouTube or the thumbs up. We do appreciate you guys. And, this is how we get our listeners. This is how we get our word of mouth out, is by just begging and pleading. That's the best way we could do it.
Like and share, like and share, like and share.
Every other word in this interview is going to be like and share, so it's okay. And that's what Mike is going to be doing as he's saying, "So, Mary, what did you like and share about this movie?"
It's a very subliminal thing that we're trying here.
Yeah, like and
share. I subscribe to the philosophy that.
And you gave this movie 2 thumbs up, so it's okay. so it's going to be a ton of fun to do, and it's great to see everybody at home here, and we got a great crew to join us to talk about this movie. Of course, Mr. Mike Gordon's here tonight.
Howdy.
So you're going to be doing this in a deep Southern accent?
No, I'm not even going to try that. I don't know what kind of accent he really has.
I think that's a fake Southern accent.
Yeah, it's I think the word is that they both were thinking about every one of these movies he would have a different accent, but that would be just as crazy as whatever accent he's adopting. But it's fine. It's unique to him, so I'm not even going to try it.
A British man doing the Deep South. It's interesting. So, I could have seen him doing James Bond with this accent. It would have been awesome. So
I probably would love to.
It probably would have. We're also joined, of course, stopping by is Ashley Pauls.
Hello, always a pleasure talking movies with the crew.
It's always great to have you here. And of course, coming over from Earth Station Who, we have Mary Ogle.
Oh, it was very nice of you to let me out of the airlock for a while.
Well, it's the new year. I wanted to, let you out, to celebrate, throw some confetti, have a glass of champagne, then get back in the airlock, because Doctor Who's
make me go right back in.
Exactly.
Shove you right back in.
Exactly. You've got artwork to do. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, it is appropriate because it is a whodunnit. So.
Oh, Ashley. Oh. She's been waiting all night for that one, folks.
That's the kind of high-class entertainment we bring everybody.
That was it for there's no more. I have to wait again till next year. So that was my pun of the year.
That is her final pun for 2022, folks.
That's not a long wait, so that's okay.
Oh, I've already been doing the jokes. See you next year. That type of stuff. It's like, or hey, I won't be at work till next year. Type thing. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, it definitely got a lot to talk about tonight. This is a very, very interesting movie with a very fascinating cast. So we'll be getting all into that in a few minutes. But of course, we want you to leave feedback for us if you get a chance. As we said, like and subscribe, as we kept on saying. So please, we definitely would love you to, if you tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We definitely would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you guys think of the new format of the show. With us putting out 2 episodes a week now, we're giving you guys double the entertainment with, no cost extra for you guys. So we're definitely, trying to come to you guys. We're trying to have you guys get more from it. And, a lot of people have been saying over the years, we love what you guys are talking about, but we want to see more compact episodes. So that's what we're giving you guys now. We're giving you shows that are right about an hour. So, trying to keep it a little more compact. But with us, we have verbal diarrhea most of the time, and we can't keep our mouth shut.
Yeah,
So
you can't shut us up.
so some of them go a little bit over an hour, but nowhere up to the 2 hours like we used to. But in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing our 2022 in the Geek Seat, and that's going to be our regular full episode. So that's going to be like a double length episode, like our old shows. And we'll be doing those like every once in a while, like when we do like the summer movie previews and items like that. And because there's just so much content to talk about.
Mhm.
And but we'll also be but we'll be trying to keep it usually about an hour or so. So hopefully you guys like the new format, and the numbers are showing that you guys are listening and more people are joining in and everything. So that's a plus right there. And you know what? Let us know what you guys think. We definitely would love to hear from you. Feedback at earthstation1.com. As we like to say, we're up on YouTube now for video, but we're also going to be, we're up on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, you name it, wherever good podcasts are found, even Earth Station One is there. So definitely do that. We also wanted to say a happy new year to our patrons. Thank you, patrons, for everything you guys do. We couldn't do this without you. You guys keep the lights on the station and, get us newer equipment, get us, better hosting, get us, because we had to go through a brand new web host for Earth Station One this last year, and that was a lot of work. And
shoot, I thought you said they were going to get us better hosts.
Ah.
Hosting.
Got before your eyes.
Got a little worried there.
Mike was looking, what is this, my last episode? Well, we did say big changes for 2023, so we might bring Bobby Nash back. You never know. No, so it's gonna be very interesting to see. But patrons, thank you guys so much, and you can too also subscribe and help support to the station by joining Patreon. There's 5 different levels. There's the $1 level, the $5 level, $10 level, and the $15 level. And we actually were probably going to propose a new level probably later in the year, and where you guys will be up on video with us and stuff, just to have you guys join us as a bonus for being an upper level patron. But all you have to do is go to patreon.com/ESO network, and you too could help support us. And also a big thank you to Fuzzy Optical, who's been with us for a couple years now. And they have been, knocking out of the ballpark with the sales they did for the holidays. They have a New Year's sale going on right now. And as a bonus, you can get 10% off your whole order, just not one pair of sunglasses, your whole order. All you have to do is put Earth Station One into the coupon code. And guess what, folks? You get 10% even off sale items. All you have to do is go to fuzzyoptics.com. Check it out. All right, Mr. Mike, ready to do a whodunnit and peel back this glass onion?
Peel back the glass onion. Yes. Yes. Benoit Blanc has returned. Knives Out 2019. Man, it seems like it was longer than that when that movie came out, didn't it? So much has happened.
It's been about a decade in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Exactly. But the first one was a big success, box office wise. It did really well. I think it doubled what it cost to make it. And the studios loved that. So there was a bidding war for the next one, for the franchise, so to speak. And Netflix won, which is kind of good and kind of bad, because it meant that the next one wasn't a guarantee to be in the big screen.
Mhm.
And especially with everything that's been going on with the pandemic and everything like that, there was no guarantee that it was ever going to be on the big screen. I think Netflix did make the decision to have it as a limited release on the big screen for about a week or so. So box office numbers for this one are very skewed. I think and that's the other thing that's frustrating too, is Netflix doesn't like to release any numbers whatsoever, not even their box office numbers.
Nope.
But Hollywood Reporter estimates that it made about $13.1 million over the 5-day weekend, which was the best performing theatrical release for Netflix, which I guess is not saying a lot. But and then it was released on streaming about a month later. So just within the last, as we're recording this, maybe last week or so, it's been available on Netflix. But it instantly became the #1 movie on Netflix, and everybody's talking about it, good and bad. So let's dive in and talk about it as well, good and bad. Ashley, what were your expectations going into this one in particular? Did you want to see more of Benoit, or was it what were you expecting going into this?
Oh, absolutely. I loved Knives Out, one of my favorite movies of 2019. I like that they take the classic kind of feel of an Agatha Christie whodunit, but set it in the modern day. And then Daniel Craig was just a delight as Benoit Blanc. He's obviously having a great time playing this over the top detective. And then I love that you had the character very down to earth of Marta, who was like a good foil for him, working together on this mystery. And then you have the cast of dysfunctional family members played by so many of our favorite actors, and some interesting twists along the way. So I was thrilled when they were announcing that Daniel Craig would be returning as a detective, but with a whole new mystery and a whole new cast of characters, which I feel is the right way to do that. Just keep him as the detective and then just throw him into all these interesting mysteries. So I was very disappointed I didn't get to see it on the big screen. It never came to my local theater, so I had to wait till it came out on Netflix. But I appreciate everybody on my Facebook and social media feeds did not spoil me, so I was able to pretty much go into this without knowing any information, which was nice, because I feel like the less you know going into a mystery, the more intriguing it's going to be. And I will say overall, don't know that I enjoyed it quite as much as Knives Out, just because that one was such a surprise. I really liked the story and characters, but I felt like there were plenty of twists and turns, great actors in this one, and it was a really fun I almost said time at the movies, but at home on my couch. But yeah, I enjoyed watching this, and afterwards I was definitely like, yep, I'm ready to see another Benoit Blanc mystery.
Mary, what about you? What were your expectations before this when you heard that they were making a sequel?
Well, I have kind of a different perspective because I actually had not seen Knives Out until the day
really?
before I
Oh,
watched Glass Onion.
cool.
And not because I didn't want to. I mean, it's actually my kind of movie, but for whatever reason,
Sure.
the comments did not
Yep.
align. And so I just hadn't seen it until then. And I really liked it when I watched Knives Out. And so I had actually pretty high expectations for Glass Onion. And for me, they were exceeded. I mean, I liked Glass Onion better than
Interesting.
Really?
Knives Out. Even though, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really
Mhm.
enjoyed Knives Out. I love the acting, I love the setting, I love the story, and I felt the same way about Glass Onion. But I think, I don't know, I think I actually like Daniel Craig's performance even more in Glass Onion, and I maybe because he was even more over the top. He seemed to be enjoying himself so much.
Yes.
You know, I could almost picture him when this script fell into his lap, or when Knives Out fell into his lap. He was like, "Oh my God, this is so opposite of James Bond. I cannot wait until I get to actually
Yeah.
break out of that role."
He's a miserable Bond because going in behind the scenes, he's miserable playing Bond.
Right, he hated playing Bond.
So like
Sad.
this is somebody that he really wants to play, and yes, it's a whole different kind of energy.
Yeah, so I would say my expectations were high, and this doesn't happen very often. They were exceeded.
Mm.
Wow, that's cool. I'm interested to find out more about that. Mike, what about you?
Well, when we reviewed Knives Out, I was in love with the story.
Mhm.
It was such a great adventure. It was a great mystery a la modern day Agatha Christie. And like Ashley had said, and it was a ton of fun. Daniel Craig was awesome as Benoit, and he did an amazing job at it. And I think he took it to the next level with this. I think he explored more in depth of the character, of what the character was more about. That he's starting to have a background. He has doubts. He has feelings, and it was interesting too because they made him gay in this. They made him, and I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was very well done. That that he was very flamboyant, and such, because you didn't see that in the first one at all. And you actually started feeling like you got to know who the detective was and some of the reasoning for his thinking. And I thought this one had a lot of twists and turns. And as they said in the first one, there was a donut hole inside the donut hole inside the donut.
Yep.
Yes.
This time there's an onion inside an onion inside
Yeah,
an
an
onion.
onion.
It's the different levels as you pull it out, my friends.
It's all about food.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like, for the gay issue, I like how they just kind of they didn't make a thing out of it.
They didn't
It's
make a
just,
stink of it at all.
but it's very obvious when Grant opens the door. My first thought is, oh, I bet that's his boyfriend, and it fits very well with the character, and also the way that Daniel Craig, they've dressed him in this movie. I think really speaks well to his character and how he has a more flamboyant side. It's not too over the top, but it's like just over the edge.
I love who he was talking to on the computer too when he was in the
That was
bathtub.
great.
Yeah.
And I thought of Mike Gordon because he was wearing a fez. And so it was pretty awesome.
I love the first one. I love Knives Out a lot. Bringing back that sort of whodunit kind of, as you mentioned, Agatha Christie. I think it's also called Closed Circle of Suspects kind of mystery. I love those from way back in the day with Thin Man to now. And Rian Johnson was like bold enough to create a new one. And this is not like based on a literary character. This is completely new. It's completely modern. And it still works. That same formula still works in Knives Out. I was really curious to see if it was going to be able to do it again and have a mystery that is as smart as the one in Knives Out, because that's not easy to do either. So I was looking forward to it, but I was preparing myself like this is probably not going to be as good. Not only because it's a challenge to do, but not only was Daniel Craig amazing in the first movie, but Ana de Armas really became like a huge, it was a big coming out party for her. Like she's been a celebrity ever since. She's been a star ever since that movie came out. And the chemistry between the two works so well. You kind of wondered, wow, are they going to be able to repeat that? Like nobody else from the first movie is going to be in this second one. So what's that going to be like? And I will say, watching this one, I was really put off by Benoit Blanc in the first act or so. I was like, man, he just is not like in Knives Out. He acts like he owns the room. Like he knows everything that's going on before anybody else is going to say it. Like he's the smartest guy. In the beginning of Knives Out, he's like not the smartest guy. He's like the outcast. He doesn't really have any clue as to what's going on, and he certainly plays it up. It's not till later that we learn that that's an act. And you want to talk about a layered performance. That's that makes this one. I can't wait to watch this one again. I haven't only got the chance to see it once, but I'm now watching it again, knowing what I know about the way the mystery plays out. And by the way, if we haven't said it yet, we will be spoiling the mystery and everything that has to do with Glass Onion.
I think they figured that one out already.
Yeah.
That's not a mystery, Mike.
It's a little hard
really
to review it without
and
everything.
So but that was a revelation to me that they were able to take this character, and I could sense it. I thought, wow, this is weird. He's different. He's playing it differently or something. It's weird going on. And then I think the same way that Armas did in the first one, I think Janelle Monáe, who's already a star, I think she really shines in this as well. And
Yes,
she's got
absolutely.
the dual role. And we'll talk a little more about that in detail, I'm sure. But that combined with, I think it's a solid follow-up. I don't care which one is better or worse. They're just both solid to me. They're both fun to watch. They're both completely rewatchable.
Yeah. And
But they're consistently good. They're both a little different, which I like. So I don't really, it doesn't matter to me which one is better. I'm just glad they're both really good.
Yeah, and I think they're enjoyable even if you already know what the answer is.
Yes,
it's
even more so.
Right. It's great to go back and rewatch and see all the little details that you miss that are, because actually Rian Johnson's very good at planting clues along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we've talked about Blanc, and we've talked about some of the other performances, or we've kind of mentioned that we like them. Let's get into more detail about that. Ashley, we'll start with you. What's somebody that or some character that you really connected with in this one?
Yeah, well, the character that we love to hate is Edward Norton's Miles Braun, I believe. He's the one that hosts the party on the island. I love the puzzle box opening, like what a great way to open the movie. And then again, like I was wondering why the heck is this movie called The Glass Onion, but it's a very appropriate title as you watch the film with so many layers, because I was starting to get a little bit worried at first. I thought, okay, they're going to this guy's island. He's hosting a murder mystery. He's going to get murdered. And then I was like, oh man, I think I kind of know how this is going to go. And then poor Dave Bautista keels over, and then I'm like, okay, there's more going on here. And then just trust Rian Johnson. He's know what he's doing. And then everything kind of opens up and there's so many more layers. But yeah, so many intriguing characters, and hats off to a lot of these likable people. Like I adore Dave Bautista. His character is not that likable. Kate Hudson, like none of these characters are particularly likable, but they're good performances, and that's what the story needs. And so I think each person brings an interesting layer, again with the layers, to the story. So there's a lot of interesting side characters, and interesting again, of course, to see Catherine Hahn in something it wasn't Agatha all along this time. She did not commit the murder. It was not the surprise twist, but yeah.
So you thought that, maybe.
Yes, but
did you think that the cast of characters in this, not to compare the actors, but the cast of characters is different than the sort of, mixed up dysfunctional family that we get in the first one? Is it just as compelling?
Yeah, I do. I think, again, I love that dysfunctional family element, but I think if he had done that again, like he needed to do something different. So I like the idea that you have these friends that have sort of like grown apart and maybe grown into worse people like over time, but they're still all tied together and codependent in this like complex web of neediness of each other. So, and I think, again, it's always interesting to have this detective, Benoit, where he's dropped into this tightly knit group of people who know each other and know their dynamic, and he's trying to figure everything out. So, yeah, I thought it was a good way to frame the mystery, but also have it not just be like a direct rehash of Knives Out.
Mary, what about you? What did you think of either singling out a performance or a character, or as an ensemble?
Well, first of all, I really like the dynamic that he kind of twisted the found family trope on its ear, because usually found family is, oh, everyone makes everyone else better. And in this case, everyone makes everyone else worse. Yeah. I mean, they turn into vile people. And actually, two of my favorite performances are the most vile, which is Kate Hudson and Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
I mean, they are terrible people. And they've sort of grown into that even more, and they're just chewing up the scenery. And it's just really fun to watch that dynamic. And the way that it's interesting in the beginning. I also had kind of the similar reaction to Benoit Blanc in the beginning, when he's very sort of, I don't know what's going on, and seems very insecure and kind of lost. And then he snaps, and all of a sudden he's right back in the thick of it. Like when he solves the game,
the murder mystery
that
game.
was fantastic.
Yes, like immediately. or even his little asides, like you kind of get if you look back on it, you get some foreshadowing of where he's going, because he says, I opened the box and it was a bunch of children's puzzles.
Yeah.
To open the box. Then you kind of start to see where it's going.
Mm.
I mean, Rian Johnson is masterful at plotting this out.
Absolutely. Micah, what about you? What did you think of the ensemble, or was there any particular standout?
Well, no, I think it was the ensemble was awesome in this one. I liked everyone was so contrasting from each other, but they were all so dependent on Miles, every one of them. And the only one who stood out that wasn't was, of course, Benoit or Andy, because you were wondering for the first half of the movie, what is Andy's deal? What's going on? What does she have on everybody? Or what, why is everyone afraid of her? What is she going to do? And it was so well done. And none of these people were nice people at all. Even Andy, Dave Bautista's character was everything you hate about what you watch on YouTube. Same thing with Kate Hudson, she's every time I see her, she looks more and more like Goldie Hawn. It's amazing. And
she's so good, though. This is I think one of her, this is maybe her best performance that I've seen her in since Almost Famous.
I agree with that. I actually really
she is excellent here.
She is excellent in this. And it is awesome. The senator, and it's like, okay, so basically Miles has something on everyone, and that's why they're like, yes, Miles, anything you say, Miles, everything goes. And but all of them were plotting behind his back. And when they were saying, oh, someone in here's wanting to murder Miles, and it was like, I could see it. It was very believable. And agreed what you were saying, Mike, about Benoit. He was so unsure of himself. He was not in his game through the first half of the movie. From seeing him in the bathtub at the very beginning, hey, you got a box here, and and who he, because he was even talking to frippin' Angela Lansbury on the computer, when he was in the bathtub, and it was awesome. And I loved all the different, how he, once again, what they reveal, of course, later on, he was 3 steps ahead of everybody else. And it was becoming more and more obvious that Miles they were basically basing Miles, it seemed like, on Elon Musk, a very Elon Musk type character, that he's not as smart as everyone thinks he is and everything.
Or as he thinks he is.
Exactly. Exactly.
He knows how to manipulate. He knows how to hit people's buttons.
Exactly.
But he is
his frustration, as Mary pointed out, his frustration over Blanc solving his little mystery in seconds, just so infuriates him, because he thinks he's he thinks he's the guy, but he's not.
Yeah, exactly. And he thinks he's, I hate to say it, he's the shit, but he's not. And it was just real interesting to see. Catherine Hahn was awesome. Every one of them was awesome. The young lady who was playing Whiskey, she was great. And it was just very interesting in how codependent on Miles everybody was. And that's what made it even more interesting. And poor Mona Lisa. Poor Mona Lisa.
Oh yeah, that was hard to see. Like, it's fiction, but still.
I know. Being an art major, that really was like, and a historian.
You mentioned the codependency, and that's where it's great, but it also, to me, was like a big okay, so once we find out that, in this closed circle, as with any closed circle, 10 little Indians, and then there were none, if you want to call it that, or one of the movies that inspired him to make this was The Last of Sheba, which I strongly recommend as well. these are things where like a group of people get together and somebody's manipulating things, somebody dies, could be the host, it could be one of the other people or whatever, and then, you know, are they going to get picked off one by one, or, you know, who's doing the killing, et cetera, you know. And this looks like, from the very beginning, it looks like that's what this is, right? The first act, it looks like that's what this is going to be. Who's going to die first, or, you know, whatever, and who's doing the killing. But once the reveal is made that Andy is not who she, you know, is her twin sister, and she's been murdered prior to this all. The murder that Benoit is investigating happens before the movie even starts. And I think that's, so going in, you know, everything that he does is in reference to trying to figure out who killed her. And as he quickly finds out, and I think also as that, once that door is open, to me it's pretty obvious who it has to be as the killer, because as you mentioned, Mike, everybody is so like leeching off of
Miles,
the main guy, Miles' character. And so there would be nobody that could be strong-willed enough to kill somebody if it wasn't him. Like he's the only guy really capable of it. And so, you know, the big reveal that it's him, to me, didn't work as much because it was the only real solution there. But I must admit, the play to get there, and the fact that the murder happens beforehand, and they're working on it, trying to find out who murdered her. And once we find that out, then it kind of becomes like just kind of a standard thing that we already know. But you know what? Some of the best episodes are like, I like watching Columbo, and Columbo, you know who does it like right away. And the fun is watching Columbo get under that person's skin and reveal themselves. And so for me, the third act of this is like a Columbo episode. Like I knew who did it, but it was fun watching Blanc get to that part, and Andy's sister get to that part where he has to reveal that he did it, and he has no choice. Like he thinks he's covered everything, especially once he burns the napkin. It's just really well played out.
Well,
and yes, I was sorry to see the Mona Lisa go as well.
Yeah, I wonder actually if in the director's mind, in Rian Johnson's mind, that the reveal wasn't really the important part of the movie. That actually what happens after the reveal, where Helen kind of finds her power and fights back, even if it might be a losing battle. Even if she may not get anything out of it, the important part was that she fought back. She told him and everyone else there that this was not okay.
Somebody actually stood up to Miles.
Yes, for the first time, because none of the other ones did ever. Even Whiskey, who you think is going to be the one who might be redeemed somehow, she's not redeemed. And even in the end, when they all turn against him, well, that's not redemption, because they turn against him because at that point they just don't want to go down with him.
Right.
Like that's the only reason they turn against him, not because they become better people.
Yeah.
They're leeching off of somebody else at that point.
Yeah.
They're like going, oh well, they're watching the power struggle, and they've realized, oh, the balance of power is on her now. Let's all go on her side.
Exactly.
It's not sincere.
Right.
No, I mean, they are despicable people.
Yeah.
And I think even more so than in Knives Out. Knives Out, you've got a really dysfunctional family. But some of them are, you know, kind of likable, and there's things going on there. The family dynamic, I think all of us can relate to in some ways. But in this one, you've just got a bunch of people who are, and it seems like, I mean, Rian Johnson, as Mary has kind of alluded to, Rian Johnson's no dummy. And if anything, he wears in his movies, even in Star Wars movie, he wears his politics on his sleeve, right? So this is a definite statement Like he's making a statement here that, that the one percenters are, a bunch of crappy people.
Oh yeah, big time. And even the people that support the one percenters are sucking up to them, because
Yeah, or almost worse in a way, the people who are enabling.
exactly, like Kate Hudson's assistant,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
What, you have a secret phone? Where did that come from? Because she's trying to keep her off social media because she just opens her mouth all the time and inserts foot or whatever she puts in there.
Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, the assistant is almost one of the most pathetic characters because she could actually walk away at any time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
But
just
she's
keeps
just
on.
Yeah, she's just so lost in Bertie J. She can't even see that she has a path out.
Hmm.
Well, exactly.
But
And then
I think
she,
also in
and the
that
thing
world,
is,
though.
so, oh, go ahead,
Go
Mike.
ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, no, I was agreeing with what Mary was going to say, because she does have, but when she was reading off to Miles, I worked for Bertie and then I left her for a little bit, but then I came right back, and
Mhm.
and if you
It's like
take
an abuser, she
Yeah.
just
exactly, that's exactly what I was going for. It's like she's an abuse victim, and she says, I want to get away, but I can't, because I'm addicted to this. I'm addicted to the lifestyle. I'm addicted to, keeping her out of trouble and everything. It's like I'm almost responsible for her type
Yeah.
thing.
No, what I was going to say was that Ryan is a lot more cynical than that, though, because there's no alternative. Like, sure, she could quit and go work for someone else, but if she wants to stay in the business that she's in, she's just going to find someone else to do that does the same thing, because there's no one in any of these fields that's redeemable that we see. In fact, the only person that's kind of the everyman in this, which is Daryl, who just kind of is a slacker that just kind of shows up and walks through the scenes like, whatever, dude. Like, that's the only alternative we have to all of this nonsense.
I thought Daryl was going to be so much more, but he wasn't.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
is Daryl going to be the murderer? Like, is that the big twist? Like, it was him.
Yeah, well, he was the red herring. I think that's the whole reason he
Yes.
was there.
I thought Daryl was going to be the genius behind,
Yeah.
Miles and everything,
or play some
and
sort of part.
exactly.
But I think that's just what Rian Johnson is doing there, though. He's the only guy that's kind of like, I mean, other than Helen and Blanc, like, who are trying to stop these people because they're bad people. But he's just a guy like how so many of us that are just trying to get through life, whether it's like doing our job, keeping our heads down, and just relaxing and let things fly. Like let the one percenters do whatever they're gonna do, and I'm just gonna stay here in my own little world and just watch TV and chill out.
No, agree completely with that. And it was almost like watching him. It was like, oh, it's the dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also go farther and say that Daryl represents the apathy of people around
absolutely.
around the excesses of capitalism and how it's used to abuse people.
No, very much so. And and it was interesting, and I loved how it was Blanc and him were watching the house burn up and everything, and they're like,
they're just sitting there drinking.
and
They're just
like,
chilling.
and
Yeah,
Blanc
because at
was
that
actually
point, but
smoking.
Blanc like taps out. He's like, I've gone as far as I can go.
Yep.
Like, I can't endorse you to hurt somebody. But here's something
suggest.
but here's something you could use to hurt somebody.
I can't do it, but you can.
Yeah.
Oh, when she started tipping over all the glass work in the gallery, I was just like, oh, this is going to get ugly. This is going to get very ugly.
I felt that was also a Willy Wonka moment where, like, he has the thing that the bad guy gave him, like the main, that Miles gave him, and that's going to ultimately like be his demise, which would have happened on a grand scale if he had gotten his way to do what he wanted. But I just love the fact that it's, he kind of gives it to her like the way that Willy Wonka kind of does with Charlie.
Well, he gives him the everlasting gobstopper, literally.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like this little crystal thing. I thought it was great.
It was really well done, and it it was a good story. That's what's good. And in the first movie, it kept me guessing on who was the murderer in this one. By halfway through it, even, when Miles ended up not dying and Dave Bautista's character Duke ended up dying, I knew it was Miles who was behind everything. But I loved how it played out better in this one than in the first movie, if that makes any sense.
Sure. I think also, I just want to make it clear because I don't think we really mentioned her, but in passing when we were talking about the ensemble and the characters or whatever. But I do think that Janelle Monáe, we don't really see her as Andy, right? Much. We see her as Helen being Andy, but we never really see her as Andy. But of course, her performance in everything she does in the first act, after the reveal, you look back and you're like, and they do a pretty good job at showing us like other things that happened around those scenes in context that we saw out of context that kind of show what kind of person she is. But
just don't give the poor lady kabacha, or whatever they call it.
Hard kombucha.
Kombucha.
Right.
From Jared Leto.
Was it Jared Leto or was Jeremy Renner?
I think Jeremy Renner was the hot sauce.
Yes.
Gotcha. Jeremy Renner was the hot sauce. Right.
Yes.
Right. But I do think Janelle did an amazing job, like, because she has to play a character with a couple different layers too, and I thought she did a really great job as well. And I don't think I've seen her in a lot. I know of her as a singer, as a pop star, but I didn't know. I think she had this quality of acting, and I thought she did an amazing job. And this is probably going to open up a few more doors for her as well.
Very much so.
Yeah,
I thought she was awesome.
And like I said, everybody else was really solid, but special props to Kate. Although it is weird because Kate Hudson in this is kind of like the elder actress that's in it, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis was in the first one. And I'm thinking, wow, am I old enough or is Kate old enough that she's the older actress in this? Like,
it's a good point.
Like, what happened?
That's a very good point.
We all got old. That's what happened.
All right, so we all love this movie, at least based on everything I'm hearing. It's as good, if not, better than the original. There is going to be another one. At least Netflix has paid for another one, and Rian Johnson has said he's started writing a new one. And Daniel Craig has said that he will keep doing this character as long as Ryan's involved. So we'll get another one. It's going to be a Netflix production, whether it goes to theaters or not, who knows? But is there anything that, we want to see from this character or this franchise going forward? Like, is there some other, because I think he's done, well, he did the one murder mystery, the first one, and I don't really consider that one a closed circle kind of murder mystery. I think that was just a whodunit, like, as far as a traditional whodunit. This one is more like we're all trapped on an island, just sort of like the Agatha Christie stuff, like we're all trapped on a boat, we're all trapped on a train, that kind of thing, using those characters. So I don't know if there's another genre of mystery, whodunits or anything like that, Agatha Christie or whoever, that maybe that could serve as inspiration.
One of the things I loved about this one was the scenery. The Greek Isles was just awesome.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
It was truly beautiful, because the first one was all up in New England. I think it was Massachusetts.
I think you're right. I think it was filmed up there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for them to go to this one, which was more exotic, more, on the Greek Isles, and it was just beautiful and everything. And I would love to see another one, another exotic location or someplace that you don't expect a murder mystery to take place. Would be kind of cool and everything. Because, this story, it's quirky, as was the first one. and I would like to see the third one keep that spirit going too, and not just in in New York City and a brownstone or something like that. That would, I think, would kind of downplay it completely. But knowing Rian Johnson, he could make it work. So that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little scary in a way to keep making them, because it would be easy for this to become formulaic.
Yeah.
Right.
You have the gimmick of the large ensemble cast and the recognizable faces and the cameos, and the same kind of mystery that in the Agatha Christie vein. And I think you have to be careful not to fall into a trap and for it to become just too much like every other one, or pale imitations of the ones before. But I mean, I do trust Rian Johnson, I mean, as a writer and a director, so I'm hoping that he won't fall into that.
It would
because
do you
most
give
of
him
the
a
other
thumbs
characters,
up?
like most of the other master detectives, like Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot or even Miss Marple, that kind of thing, like they have like tens and tens and tens of like 50, 60 stories, right? Like, and if you read them all, some of them are good and some of but only like maybe a handful of them in every case stand out as like really amazing mysteries, things that push the genre. And Brian Johnson doesn't have that kind of, like, he can't make like 60 and hope that like 5 of them are good, right? Like,
right. Probably not gonna happen.
I wish.
I'm sorry, Ashley, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, it would maybe be interesting to find a way the next mystery somehow challenges Benoit on a personal level. Like, I don't know if there could be some kind of more personal connection with him to the case, or you have something like the Murder on the Orient Express that challenges him in solving the murder. Just some, like, you don't want it to be too serious because it is quirky, but something that would just maybe challenge Benoit on a personal level that has maybe a tie to him and something that he's experienced or been through.
A family member or something like that.
Yeah. That's an interesting idea, because he's actually kind of removed from both groups in the first two films. So that would be interesting to explore.
I think Ryan's really got, like, he's definitely in these two, he's proven that he's like really loving the challenge. But on the one hand, he's got like 100 years of stories that of whodunits and murder mysteries and all of that he's got to not mimic.
Yeah, that's a big challenge.
He's got to pull from those and sort of use our expectations based on our watching of those, familiarity with those, and yet he's got to come up with something. And so far, I think he's been successful in coming up with something completely new both times. But I don't know, as Mary said, I don't know how often he can do that. And I would, as much as I would like to see him in another location as well, Mike, I also think it would be great, as let's go to Ashley, who's pointed out, like something in Louisiana, something in his hometown, something in his base of operations. I think, because especially with, certainly if it's New Orleans or even Baton Rouge, there's like certain elements there that are really conducive to murder and mystery and intrigue that I think would be fun to play with as well. So
Can't disagree with any of that.
Yeah, but bottom line, I think, like Mary said, is it's Rian Johnson. Daniel Craig's is in for playing him. I mean, I'm in. Like, the next one that comes out, whether it's streaming or in the theaters, I'm gonna try to see it the first week I can, because
absolutely,
because this has been a great addition to those master detective stories that from other masterful authors that we love so well. So I'm in for that. Any last words on Glass Onion, Ashley?
No, just really enjoyed it and hope to see more from this character and this type of storytelling. And I think even more so than Knives Out, this one is really going to reward repeat viewings, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff I probably missed. And like others are saying, the foreshadowing. So I'm really excited to go back and watch this again and then see how everything will get woven together.
Mary?
I would highly recommend this to both of them, to anyone, especially people who love mysteries, because it's just a really fun, quirky take, and Daniel Craig is brilliant as Benoit Blanc. And also, I have to say, my favorite Easter egg, there's tons of cameos in these movies, but my favorite Easter egg is every time the gong goes off, when it's dong, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, I did not. That's fun.
That's his cameo.
That's funny. I did not catch that. That's cool. Mike?
It almost killed me in this one. He was playing the guitar and he was playing the Beatles song, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Paul McCartney wrote the song on this guitar," and he just throws it into the sand, and it was just like, no. It's like, you are the killer in this one. I knew it. No,
exactly.
But yeah, this movie definitely is worth watching more than once. I'm definitely going to go back to this one to see, like, now that we know what happens, because of the flashbacks and the explanations, I want to see, all the little things that I've missed, all the little things, because I was so wrapped up in the story, because this story pulls you in. It doesn't, like, it's just not fluff. It pulls you in. It gets you liking or disliking characters, and you're like, half the time while they're on the screen, you're going, "Oh, those bastards. Oh, I can't believe they're doing this," or whatever. And that's what made it so cool and everything. And it was so believable that, at first, "Oh yeah, I got a box too, with the challenge games in it," and Edward Norton's character is like, "Oh, you got one? I don't remember sending it out to you." And it's like, "Oh, somebody must have, forwarded theirs to you," or something like that. And so it was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I really enjoy the narrative structure. The first act, I'm thinking Benoit's acting weird, and everybody who's on this island, I don't care if they die or not. It's sort of like a Friday the 13th thing, and they're all these annoying teenagers at camp, and I'm like, I don't really care if these guys get killed. But with the switch of Helen being, or Andy being Helen being Andy, whatever, that gives us a compelling character that we can root for. And the second and third acts are just outstanding. And so, like, he really knows what he's doing. And I love that, I'm not gonna lie, I love the fact that he doesn't mind throwing some far left stuff in there. I love the fact that, the social politics are right there on the screen. And, if it annoys the certain group of people, I don't care. It makes it even better for me.
Good.
So exactly. Like, he's not trying to be safe for all audiences. Like, he's like, if they don't like it, who cares? So definitely want to see more. So very cool. Well, I believe we will take a quick break, and then we will close out the show.
Awesome. All right, this is our bonus material part for our YouTube people. And, it was interesting with this movie because this one, when I was watching the first one, Knives Out, I was still entrenched with Daniel Craig being James Bond. And the whole time watching it, I was thinking, oh, it's James Bond with a Southern accent, basically being. This time, I didn't feel like that at all. What about you guys? Did you feel like, I think he's making the character completely his own and everything?
Yeah, I think
I didn't see Daniel Craig at all.
No,
I didn't see James Bond at all. No.
In fact, he reminded me most of Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
Only a much more flamboyant version of him.
Yeah, of course.
Along those lines.
No, totally understand that.
To me, it's just so fun. Like, Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond, but like, it's just so much fun to see him playing a role that obviously brings him joy. He's having a great time. Just like, it's fun to see an actor's eyes light up. Like, they're just putting everything into that performance, and that makes it fun to watch as a viewer too.
It's definitely, and that's what's cool. And the characterizations were cool, but like you said, and that's part of the fun, because this is what they did, like with Murder on the Orient Express. They did this Death on the Nile. It's like a who's who of,
Mhm.
suspects and everything. And I like that they're doing that. And I'm going to be very curious on who they get next and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited to
Yeah.
see the next cast.
Oh yeah, I'm totally looking forward to it.
So,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
all right. Thank you, YouTube people, for watching us, for putting up with all the fun stuff we like doing. And, we like giving you little bonuses here because, this is the part that's edited out. Usually this is either Ashley's segment or it's Michelle's segment, or we sometimes have Angela's Geek Girl segment, so this is just like different parts that, little bonuses, since you're sitting here watching us and, we're smiling at the cameras now and everything.
Or just an ad.
Yeah, exactly. Could be an ad. Or if you want to advertise here on the Earth Station One podcast, we'll be glad to take sponsors. Definitely. We love you guys. Thumbs up. And also hit the subscribe button below.
Yeah.
Please do if you get a chance. All right, let's
Like and
close up.
share.
Yeah.
Like and share, like and share.
Like and share.
There you go. Oh yeah. All right, let's close up this sucker. So that's going to wrap up another episode of the Earth Station One podcast. Let's thank everybody for being here. Mary, thank you for hopping out of the airlock and joining us for this movie review tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciate you releasing me to sit in on this, and I'm so glad that I finally got the chance to watch both these movies because they're fantastic.
It was a ton of fun, and I'm glad you finally got to see the first one too. I'm actually really surprised you didn't.
Yeah,
Well,
me
I
too.
am too, actually, because I kept meaning, it's one of those things I kept meaning to watch, but there's
Mhm.
so much stuff out there right now that I just never got around to it. And so
It's
I
true.
am really, really glad that I was able to do it.
No, very much so. I totally could see that. And, anything you want to shout out about or promote, especially since this is the last show of 2022.
I just want to say Happy New Year, everybody. I hope the new year brings you much joy and love and happiness. And you can find my artwork at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Awesome. Thumbs up, like and subscribe. No, so, and
Like and
Ashley,
share.
like and share, folks. And Ashley, thank you so much for being here. And you've done such an amazing job as our movie reviewer. And we're giving you the promotion now as lead movie promoter.
Woohoo! Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I'd double my paycheck too. So
I will double your salary as
all
of
right,
tonight.
awesome.
I think we established, when we did Avatar, that we are under her thumb.
Oh, damn straight. We usually go, Ashley, do you want to review this one? No, not really. What about this one? Yes. So I guess we got the answer on that one. Anything you want to promote or shout out about?
This week I'm hoping to get my end of the year top 10 geek stories of the year post. Maybe Glass Onion will make an appearance on that list. We'll just have to wait and find out. But always fun to look back over the year and so many great geek stories, movie, TV, books, lots of great content. So looking forward to doing that wrap up.
No, that's awesome. And I think, you kind of just hinted or what our next show in the new year is going to be.
Yeah, what could that be?
I don't know. We might have to count down or something like that. And Mr. Mike, we made it through another one.
We did. And as always, it's my pleasure.
Anything you want to shout out about?
Yeah, I'm going to be releasing my best of lists as well via all the social media things or whatever. But one thing I wanted to point out in particular was the best comic series that I've read this year and many others. It's a series called Reckless. 2 books in the it's a series of 5 so far, graphic novels. And 2 of the books that were released this past year the series just keeps getting better and better. It's written by Ed Brubaker with art by Sean Phillips, and it involves the main character is Ethan Reckless. He's not really a detective, but he's kind of a man that you hire to do jobs that nobody wants to do, finds himself getting into trouble, all sorts of kind of crazy trouble. Takes place in the 80s. It is just it's, you know, I think what Rian Johnson is to these movie whodunits, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips are to like 80s action detective stories. So if you like detective stories, it's a little different than what Knives Out is, but still pretty good. The best, I think they're the best team working in comics today.
That is awesome. That is awesome. For my shout out, real quick, Judy and I just got done watching Interview with a Vampire on AMC Plus, and there's a good chance that might be showing up on my top 10 of this next year, or this last year, sorry. And it was interesting because it's a great version of the story, and it's only the first half of the first book for the first season. So you're not going to get the full book in it, which is, I like that they broke it up that way. And it's only 7 episodes, so it's a very easy watch, folks. And it's very beautifully done. It's changes the story a little bit. There's a lot of things that they changed. Most of it I love. The actor they have playing Lestat is amazing. I love who they have playing Louis. You saw him on Doctor Who during the Flux season, and you also saw him in Game of Thrones. So you had that going for it. And but also the interviewer was Eric Bronnell, I think it is.
But is it, I can't think of his name now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good.
He is super good, and they have some nice twists. There's one or two things I didn't like, and I like the actress they have playing Claudia, but I just think they made Claudia way too old for the series and everything, because she should only be like 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah,
and they made it, and they
sort of
made
changes the whole point of that character.
exactly, because they make her like 14 or 15 or something like that in the series, and that kind of, it plays into some of the things that happens in the first season, but it also takes away from a lot of it. So it doesn't ruin it at all. It is enjoyable and highly do recommend it. So AMC Plus, folks, if you get a chance to check it out. And I don't know, Mike, I think maybe we'll do a review of it in 2023.
I'm game. I loved it as well.
We have all these episodes open, so let's do it. So
are you kidding? I know we're hard scheduled till like June next year.
We are, but we have, now that we're doing 2 episodes a week, it's we got lots
open season.
It's open season. But we also have we're starting to line up guests and everything for 2023, and we're gonna have some fun stuff coming for you folks. Hopefully you guys will be looking forward to it. Speaking of looking forward to it, join us for the first show of the new year. We are going to be talking about our top 10 lists. We're going to be doing a rants and raves, our top 10 movies and TV shows. Should be a ton of fun. And you know what, Ashley? Why not you come back for that episode also?
Sure, I'll just keep hanging around the station, just aimlessly wandering till it's time to record the next one.
You could join Mary in the airlock. It's not that hard.
It's a party in the airlock.
Well, hey, that sounds great. New Year's Eve in the airlock. I'll be there.
Oh yeah, you even bring the cat. It'd be perfect. So join us for that episode, folks. We definitely would love to it. Folks, I hope you guys have an amazing new year. I think, New Year's Eve is a great time to say farewell to a year. Some people it's been good, some people it's been bad, or it could have been a little half and half. And you know what? 2023 is coming our way, brand new, fresh. Let's start with a big jump in, and a good, attitude, and fresh good things are going to be coming our way. And you know what? I'm glad to be spending it with these people, that I'm here with tonight. And you know what? I couldn't ask for anything better than that. These are my friends. These are the people I like talking to you guys about.
You need to set higher goals, Mike.
I do, but I just don't mention it on the show. That's okay. But it's good to be able to spend it and enjoy it with everybody. And you know what? 2023 is going to be a grand year for us all. and let's look at it with open eyes and a fresh start. And you know what? We definitely love you guys, and thank you for listening and everything. Feedback, of course, is always welcome. Feedback at earthstation1.com. We couldn't do this here without you guys. We'd be talking to ourselves until our faces turn blue, but we love it talking to you guys also. And we love the family of listeners we've built up with this. And, it's all awesome to hear from you guys. And sometimes you guys don't write, but we do know you guys are listening because we got the numbers. We get the statistics every week and seeing how we're doing and everything. And you guys are listening and you're telling your friends and stuff. But,
Keep liking and sharing.
That's right. Like and share. Subscribe right below. Whatever else we like to say. Thumbs up, as we like to say also. Remember, you can find Earth Station One wherever fine podcasts are found. And now Earth Station One can be found in video format on YouTube. I'm shocked. This is pretty awesome. This is news to all of us. Please subscribe and tell all your friends about us. On behalf of myself, Mike Faber, Mr. Mike Gordon, Ms. Ashley Pauls, Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you guys for listening. I hope New Year's Eve is fantastic for each and every one of you. And stay safe, stay healthy. And you know what? Here's to a good 2023. Peace, and we will talk to you soon. And we're done. Boom.
For the year.
For the year. We're out of here.
Woohoo!
I can retire for a couple days. Yay.